The following is a 5 for 2 production.
Whoa! How you doing? Oh, yeah! It looks like we're gonna have ourselves a rock and roll party tonight! Make me an offer that I can't refuse. Love of you. Got nothing to lose. Love of you. I need a gun.
Hello and welcome to episode 11 of Ticket Stubs. Todd, we've actually made it up to the K's. Can you
can't
believe it?
We're at that historic moment, Kevin. It's for Kevin tonight.
We've moved into the double digits and now we're continuing on. It's wonderful. But how you doing this evening, buddy?
I lost that bet. I guaranteed it we wouldn't make it past 7 episodes. So. We're good.
But hey, if you're just tuning into this show for the first time, I'm Kevin. That's Todd over there, and we come to you every Sunday night on YouTube and tell you all the great concert stories that we have.
You
some
wish
memories
you could have been at.
Todd, last week's episode was great. Your dad was awesome. That was fantastic. So we're going to make that available as a little short on YouTube so people can just go on and watch that because
I think Dad's going to be a huge internet success. I predict it's going to go viral.
I think so too. I loved when he was talking about the Magic Bus as compared to a Greyhound. This isn't a Greyhound. There were no comfortable seats.
No, they weren't. They weren't.
Most of the time you want to take a nap or go to sleep after an event. Oh, no, not on the Magic Bus. But, so, yeah, we loved having Mr. Baker on. So hopefully maybe down the road.
On this show too, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, you promised Mom was coming on tonight. So.
When we get into the topics tonight, I'll explain why. So
okay, we don't want to interrupt their lifetime viewing too much. You know.
It's to tell the viewers the truth, we're actually recording this on the Thursday night. So
okay, so no Lifetime movie tonight.
They're watching the rest of the Democratic convention right now, Kevin. So they're riding with Biden tonight. So
okay, all right. Well, God bless them, and we hopefully we'll get to talk to Mrs. Baker here in a little while. So Todd, we're coming up to the K's. I had kind of a list. Obviously, it's obvious we have a main event tonight. I mean, I think there's one band that really
snap this up, buddy, because we're gonna have to spend about half an hour on the final act. So
well, exactly. I figure we'll probably have to take a break before then. But I had kind of a list of other K bands, just kind of curious whether you had seen them or not, and we could just kind of swap stories if we have. But so I guess I could just start out alphabetically as we do. Have you ever seen Kansas?
I fucking hated Kansas.
Patterson Hood.
Thank you, Patterson.
I have seen Kansas twice. Saw them at the picnic at the Pops here in Columbus, and then I saw them at the Ohio State Fair with Boston and Kansas. Those geographical bands of the 70s. But
if only they had Chicago in there, it would have been a triple bill.
Seen them too. How about Kingdom Come? Did you ever see Kingdom Come?
Yes, I did actually on the Monsters of Rock tour in 1988. Yeah, I did.
Kingdom Clone as
matter of fact, I need to write that down on my list because they were so bad I didn't even include them. So
okay, how about BB King? You look like a guy who may have seen BB King. You never saw him either, huh?
Never
I missed
saw
out
him.
too. Yeah, dang. Well then, I know you have a story about this next band that I'm going to bring up.
Well, wait, I got a few that you may not have.
Okay.
Keb Mo.
Keb Mo? No, I've not seen him.
You forgot we have both seen Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Oh, nice! And that was your first. That was your first concert too, Casey and the Sunshine Band.
The first Casey show, yeah, not my first concert, but yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was your first concert.
No, my first concert was the Bay City Rollers.
Bay City Rollers. Okay, I'm confusing Casey.
SATY. Night. All right, yeah, you gotta go back and watch that one, folks. That's a good episode.
Yes.
But let's see what else. We got Kid Rock.
Kid Rock, saw him at the Newport. Were you at that show when that's when he was dating Jody Watley's sister, and she danced right on a little step up right in front of me all night. It was glorious. Just to
No,
watch.
I saw him twice, neither by choice. Once opening for the Stones
Yep.
at Ohio Stadium, and
Okay.
I saw him on what was supposed to be the final Leonard Skinner show in Jacksonville with Charlie Daniels Band, blah blah blah. And then I found out, like, as we're at the show, shit, man, they got tours. They got a tour scheduled for the next 6 months. It was supposed to be the final show.
I sometimes think this year is God's punishment to all these bands that just won't stop.
Do a final tour. Well, here's your final tour, motherfuckers.
Motley, it's all Motley Crue's fault. You know that. They signed that whole thing that they wouldn't come back. So then they announced they're coming back, and God's like, hell no.
Kiss had their final tour in 2000. And and this tour was called the End of the Road Tour. That was they started in 2019. So Crocus. I saw him 3 times.
I was going to say, we told my story about the one time I had the chance to see Crocus. I had to miss it. They were opening for Sammy Hagar, and we told that story in the H's. I had to go to my nephew's first birthday party. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad.
Lenny Kravitz.
Yes, I saw Lenny at the WOMAD Festival. We discussed that in episode G. He was with Peter Gabriel there.
I saw him open for Aerosmith. Very impressive. I liked him.
Yep. Lenny rocks.
Now I have one more K story, and we'll get to the main event.
Okay. John K. Yes, with Steppenwolf. I have the ticket right here. Obviously, we told the one story about this is for this ticket that I'm holding up. This is for the Blue Oyster Cult and John K. and Steppenwolf. And you already told the episode in the Bees how you just you walked out after Blue Oyster Cult.
I was so pissed. I was so angry. We saw like 2 Blue Oyster Cult songs, and here comes fucking. Now we're leaving. Horrible.
I remember this was my memory about the Steppenwolf show that I did stay and watch. There was no bass player on stage, but man, the bass sounded great. So I don't know what that says, folks, but yeah, I think the keyboard was doing the Manzarek thing and doubling that up. But
all right, so quick John K. story.
Okay.
John K. was opening for Jimmy Buffett at Margaritaville in New Orleans, where I worked. And so I guess John K. was friends with Buffett or whatnot. And it was probably just him and whatever other scrubs he could get to play with the band or what. It wasn't Steppenwolf. But yeah, he was kind of a dick. And we had a pretty big security guy. I'm 5'8". This guy's at least 6'4". And we called him Tiny or something like that. I forget.
Of course, Little John.
Yeah. And so he was instructed specifically not to let anyone into the back door to the kitchen, to go to the back area. Of course, John K. gets done with his set, walks directly to the door and starts walking into the kitchen. Tiny says, "Hey, sir, I'm sorry, but we can't let anybody in there." And he says, "But I'm John K." He says, "Dude, I don't care who you are. You're not getting in the door." So that was a moment that I thought, well, folks, sometimes rock and roll privilege doesn't get you jack shit. So I found that an amusing little rock anecdote that I've kept with me over the years. And since we're talking about the K's, I thought I'd throw it in there. So
very nice. So you did get to see him once then.
But so basically there are really only 2 bands that we're going to be talking about tonight.
Two for you. I was going to bring up. I had one K story. I'll just go and do it right now. So just kind of get it out of the way. But one of my favorite bands of all time, as you know, I'm kind of into the California stoner rock desert scene.
Oh, okay.
So, Caius, one of my favorite albums of all time there, folks, Sky Valley. But I was lucky enough to see them twice with the classic lineup. And the reason I want to bring up the first show is we've talked about Mary Kaufman, rest in peace, and Park Avenue on here before. And I actually saw the Sky Valley tour at Park Avenue. And I just thought it was cool when they sold the tickets. Here's the ticket stub. But they gave it to you. Like I said, the album was called Welcome to Sky Valley, which is the kind of the nickname for the Palm Springs, Palm Desert area where they're from. But it come with this cool little brochure. that they just made up themselves, and it has all the little activities that you can do in Sky Valley. So I thought that was pretty neat. And, you know, it was like real cool stonered out show with unique lighting and stuff. Then saw them another time. They opened for White Zombie at like 5:30 in the afternoon, and the stoner lighting at Polaris at 5:30 in the afternoon doesn't quite work as well, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so now I think this will bring us to the band you were going to tell a story about, but Kicks are for kids.
Now there is also a connection between the K band Kix, Kix, and a band that you have seen before, which is more in the metal genre, I believe.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Now the name is escaping me, but I'm sure
Wrathchild America.
That's the one.
Fronted by a guy named Brad Divins.
Brad Divins.
And
absolutely.
And what is Brad Divins' connection to Kicks? Tell the people.
Well, I believe he was one of the, if not original guitar players, but joined probably during the second record. So now, folks, you'll actually have to read my book to see all the good pictures that goes along with these stories. But so I got two individual tales to tell about this band, Kicks.
Cool. Okay, real quick on the Brad Divins thing. Did I ever tell you whenever I saw Wrathchild America with Pantera at the Arosaville, I brought up him being in Kicks?
How did he take it?
He not real happy about it. He was just like, shh, you know, that didn't happen. I was like, hey, is it true you were actually in the band Kicks? Because I think at that time you had been telling me, you know, all about that. You have an old Kicks album that's got him on it. And so it was just funny because at the time, you know, they were really, that was that early thrash metal hardcore scene. Nobody wanted to admit to, you know, their past.
Close my eyes. Yeah. So Kicks, now they're technically from a Baltimore band. However, the original bass player, his parents lived in New Cumberland, Pennsylvania, which is essentially my little burb area, which is where I went to high school. And so the band played a lot, not only in Baltimore, but played in Philly and played in Harrisburg. And so they did the circuit quite a bit in that area. So Kicks got pretty popular in Central PA, and they got played on the local rock radio station, FM 104 WTPA, and the home of rock and roll. And so anyhow, that's where I got into this band Kicks as a seventh grader. And there was a little place called the Record Store, which is where my sister won the tickets for Journey. And Kicks was going to do an autograph signing party there. Again, you'll have to read the book, see the pictures. But I got pictures of Kicks at the autograph signing party. Very exciting. And they ended up opening for Ted Nugent at City Island. I went with my buddy Hoop. We'll get to that. We get to the Ted Nugent stories here. But so I saw Kicks open for Ted Nugent. Pretty big deal for them, you know. And then in 1980, well, I guess it was 83, they opened, well, they headlined a gig at what was going to be my high school, Cedar Cliff High School. The seniors at Cedar Cliff High School wanted to do a little fundraising thing for their senior bash, and they thought, well, they hired Kicks to come play the high school, you know. Now, the only problem was they had to get approval from the assistant superintendent of the school district. Now, if you were watching last week's show, folks, you know who the assistant superintendent of the West Shore School District was. So let's just say I had an in. Now, we'll let Dad tell his version of the story a little bit later. But essentially, Dad made a deal with the seniors in which he would allow them to bring Kicks to the high school. However, they had to allow selling tickets to 7th and 8th graders with at least an A or B average, which just happened to be me. So The
Beautiful.
seniors at Cedar Cliff were not happy about this, but Dad had them by their short hairs, so nothing they could do about it. So Kix played Cedar Cliff High School in 1983, and the opening band was a band called the Spectres. And
Spectres never really made it in rock and roll.
never heard of the Spectres, probably, unless you lived in central Pennsylvania in about 1983 or so. But the Spectres contained two guys from that area. We had a drummer from Cedar Cliff High School, a guy named Rick Ream, real nice dude. He was actually into Votech. He was in the hairdressing department, and that's not a lie. And then there was another guy named Brett who went to Mechanicsburg High School, about 20 minutes away. They were the head dudes in the band. So now this is the original Ticket, which has been signed by the guys in Kix and a couple of the guys from the opening band. That's the actual original Ticket. I actually found an actual copy. But
beautiful.
So it turns out a couple years later, this Brett and Rick guy go out to Hollywood and form a new band from the ashes of the Spectres. They pick up some dude from New York to play guitar, and they had a buddy that I guess used to live in PA, but then moved to Florida or something, and he could play bass. So they had a band, and it was called Poison. And so I basically got to see half of Poison open for Kix
At your high school.
My high school.
It's not quite Kiss at Cadillac High, but that's pretty fucking cool, man.
Now, as Bill Cosby once said, I told you that story to tell you this one. I got a chance to meet Kix a little bit later in their career. At that point, they were then opening for Rat, and I believe Brittany Fox was the middle act, so they were actually opening for Brittany Fox as well. So they had slid down that rock ladder a couple notches, and I actually asked the lead singer for Kix if he remembered this concert, and he looked at me like that I was the last person in the world he ever wanted to see again. And he just simply said, "No, I don't know what you're talking about," and walked away quickly.
Not a good night in his career in his eyes.
Walked away quickly. Now, I will continue this story when we get to the Peas, because later that year I got to meet Poison when they had reached the peak of their career, and got to meet Bret Michaels again. So I will save the rest of that story for when we get to the Peas. But again, so that is my main Kix story right there. And again, I will let Dad fill in the blanks a little bit later if he chooses to do so, if we can drag him away from the Dodgers game. The Dodgers are playing tonight. So
okay. He did mention Kix last week, so I know it's kind of present on his mind of historical shows with you. But
hey, for a guy who's 86 years old, he's got a pretty good memory. So
dude, he was just great last week. I can't stress it enough. I see he's a natural storyteller. I see where you get it from.
Oh yeah, that's absolute for sure. So I tell you what time are we at right now, Kevin? Because I think maybe
right about 20 minutes. So yeah, we'll take a little break.
I'll take a little break now, and we'll get to the main act of the letter K coming up right next.
You wanted the best. You're gonna get them on Ticket Stubs.
You wanted the best, and you got the best. The hottest band in the world, Kiss!
Todd, we're talking about Kiss! Finally! This is why I had to drag you to at least 11 episodes, because we had to talk about Kiss.
I knew damn well, Kevin, I wasn't gonna die before we got to this one. So,
Todd, you're like in 3D right now, man. Woo, woo, woo. Yes, these are our 3D glasses, our 3D Kiss.
My Donald
glasses.
Trump move.
Yeah. So these
or
will,
maybe
see these will come into play here in a little while when we get to that tour. But Kiss always on the forefront of concert technology.
Yes, indeed.
So Kiss, man, the hottest band in the world.
Well, you know,
Go ahead.
I was doing some research last night because I'm still trying to write the Kiss stories for the book right now, even though we're talking about it as we speak. But so we'll save the first story for another time because I think Mom and Dad should discuss that one.
Okay.
But I've seen Kiss now 12 times from the Pick It Up tour till this, you know, we're finally giving it up after all this goddamn time tour. So
they just postponed their dates. They just moved them to, like, you know, next year. My buddy, he had a meet and greet. He was going to do the Gene Simmons Vault experience in Dayton. So, you know, you meet Gene and buy that big vault worth of all the songs that were not good enough to get on the Kiss records. but Gene sells it to the fans, you know, for, I think it's like $2,000 or something like that. But anyway, he gets to take a buddy, but he didn't take me. So, you know. But anyway, Kiss with David Lee Roth, baby. So it's come full circle.
Kevin, let's split it. Let's do that.
What?
Let's see Gene. Come on, let's do it. Let's split it.
Split the vault, meet Gene. I know a couple people that have done it. I'm sure. I hear Gene is a very, very nice guy. I guess
I've met him once.
You know, yeah, that's actually part of a story. I didn't meet him once, but we'll talk about that in a little while. So, Todd, what's your first memory of Kiss? I mean, I know you had to discover him real young, like me. So the memory is.
So Kevin and I are roughly the same age. We grew up in the glorious 1970s.
We are the target demographic for Kiss. We really are.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
We were the kids who wanted the baseball cards and the belt buckles and the puzzles and the games and the stickers and the color forms and
the dolls. I was just watching a Kiss doll commercial here. I threw one in when I was putting together the podcast for Damage Incorporated. There was some Kiss on there, so I threw in one of the old 70s Kiss commercials just as the soundbite before I went into the Kiss. Kiss, that's their name. Kiss. They may look insane. Did you have the Kiss dolls?
Did I have the Kiss dolls?
Dumb question.
That's all I got. That's all I got.
Hey.
I got the Gene and the Paul. Apparently, I never got around to getting Ace and Peter. I can't believe I didn't.
How could you have been so prophetic to know that those would be the two real Kiss members?
Or the last two, anyhow.
Yeah.
But now I was looking online just for fun the other day on eBay. How much it would cost to get 4 dolls in perfect condition in the boxes? Think guess, Kev.
4 in the boxes in perfect condition, $1,000 a piece, $5,000.
$2,000.
$2,000. Okay, I was a little overboard, but
But still,
yeah.
$2,000 for 4 little dolls.
Yeah.
I swear. If there is something like the way station before you get to heaven, and you get a chance to review your life and maybe possibly go back and correct a few things or whatnot, I would tell my dad, buy 2 of each. Let me play with one, and we'll put the other ones in a box somewhere.
When did that whole thing? I know when we were kids, we never thought of keeping a toy. Like, you know, I had the original 5-pack of the Star Wars toys, but I wouldn't think of keeping them in a box. We got them out to play with them. I mean, I think when people our age started to get too old to play with toys, but they still wanted to buy the toys, that's when they started keeping them in the box.
Collecting?
I don't know. That's my theory, at least. But my first memory of Kiss, now I'm lucky, I guess, in a way. My older brother, Steve, who you know, he was in his freshman year of college was the year the first Kiss album came out. So when he came home from college, he was all excited in the summer about this band, this Kiss.
Now, have he seen them?
I don't know if he had seen them yet, but he had definitely got this album and was like, definitely, you know, right on board. He was like one of the teenage fans, you know, right on, obviously college age. But this guy right here, though, scared the living piss out of me. I was like, that band is not for me. They are too scary. But then it would probably been sometime that summer. So I'd have been 5 years old when he came home from his first year, and probably some point that summer he's hanging out with all his buddies in his room, and there's this, this different aroma coming out of his room, and there's this music playing, and it was Kiss, and I dug it. I mean, I just I don't know, maybe I got a contact buzz off of whatever was coming out from under the door, but thought it was like really cool, and so I got over my fear of these makeup guys, and I was a fan right off.
I would have to go back to, and again, it's funny because doing research on this book, I get to contact a whole bunch of people and find out what their memories are as compared to my faulty memory. And so, all right, I always tell the story. My buddy Jeremy Von Deelen, one of my best friends in second grade, wanted a record for his 8th birthday. And he wanted Kiss Rock and Roll Over. So that's what my dad bought for him. And when I got the record, I kind of tilted it one way. Someone had already opened it, and out came the most colorful set of stickers that I had ever seen. And I've got my set hanging on the wall right now. But if you find a copy of Rock and Roll Over at the record store, see if you can find something like that.
And I did. I got this record for like $3 and could not believe that the stickers were still in.
Sticker was still in it. So needless to say, Dad bought 2 copies of Rock and Roll Over that day.
Smart that time.
and that's how my Kiss obsession started. Now, here's where the funny part of the story goes, Kev. All right, so now for those Kiss historians out there, for those true addicts like Kevin and I are, you know that Kiss put out 2 records in 1976. They put out Destroyer, which came out like around January, February, I want to say, or maybe March.
Sometime early in the year. I could probably
of 1976. And then about 6 months later, in October of 76, out comes Rock and Roll Over. Now, this is back in the day, folks, when people just, were doing a lot of coke and just cranking out product left and right. So that's how they did it. They'd go on tour, they'd ride on the bus, they get back off tour, they go on, they record, then they go back out on tour and play the stuff they recorded that they wrote on the bus.
And everybody, they talk about that, and it really was true. Everybody was pretty prolific in the early 70s, but Kiss they were kind of extraordinarily prolific. Those first 6 albums come out at a clip of what, 4 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. So so they were working hard. They were trying to make it.
They were, for sure.
Paid off. But
so if you know the history of Kiss, you know that Rock and Roll Over didn't come out till October. Now my buddy Jeremy's birthday wasn't until March, which means that I didn't get Rock and Roll Over until March of 77. I was always under the assumption that I was 7 years old when I became a Kiss fan. But apparently, folks, I was almost 8. So it kind of blows my story a little bit. But sometimes the facts is funnier than the fiction. So
I hear you. I've always thought that when I told the story about my brother's room, I've always thought in my head the song that that got me was Rock and Roll All Night, but that wouldn't have even come out until the 3rd album. So something off the first album, probably like Kissin' Time or something like that was probably now I know I got in trouble in the 3rd grade. I went to Catholic school, Todd. In the 3rd grade in art class for my project, I drew this album cover, and Hotter Than Hell just really didn't go over well.
Didn't go over with the nuns. They didn't appreciate that.
No, not at all. So.
Well, did you also? Now I don't want to be telling tales about you here, Kev, without your permission. But from what I recall, and I can't remember which record it was. Might have been Love Gun, but they put Alive too when they put out little tattoo stickers, and I believe you and a buddy of yours put the stickers
Well,
on.
I wasn't actually involved in that, but I was involved because John Dillon, who I don't even know where they're having this guy. If you're out there, buddy, I hope you're doing very well. And he was one of my early
Probably
Kiss
in
friends.
there somewhere.
I have two John Dillon stories actually involving Kiss because he was one of my very early Kiss friends. One time he came to my house to spend the night, one of the early sleepover. This was great. And before dinner, he had the paint your face, the kiss your face paint set. So before dinner, he spent, like the hour painting me up. I think it was Peter Chris. He had me all done up. Dad calls us down to dinner, and we go down, and my dad flipped out, Todd, that I was painted my face like this. He was not happy at all. I think he sent John home. but that's only the
All
first.
right, kid, you had enough.
That's only the first of John's hijinks. Whereas Kiss
Get out of here before you put a dress on my kid.
so John and I were always the two shortest guys in the class. So we were always shorter than all the girls all through grade school. I didn't hit my growth spurt till like senior year of high school. But so we were always seated in the front of any class pictures. So our 5th grade class picture, he had gotten the Kiss Alive too with the stickers, and they had temporary tattoos, and of course of each member. Well, he had taken the Gene and the Paul tattoos, and he had affixed them to the fronts of his palms like this. And right when they went to snap the picture, boom, he holds them up like that. So yeah, there's me and there's John. I seem to recall, I think I know this happened because I was sitting right there. I've never seen a picture of it. I think literally it was cause for retaking the picture. And I think John, and I think my dad wasn't the only person that John ever got in trouble with Bobby Kiss. I think he was probably really in trouble with the nuns again at the Catholic school for messing up the video. So cheers to John Dillon wherever he may be.
Well, and then and speaking of bad influence Johns, I've got a John McCarran story I can follow that up with. So again, we're gonna skip over the first Kiss experience, which was.
I'll tell you about mine, but it's as we go on with our stories. We'll save yours because yours is the.
What was the first year you saw them? What was the first?
Well, speaking of my brother Steve always used to tell me when I was a kid, he's like, by the time you're old enough to see Kiss, they're gonna take that makeup off. And well, he was right, but I was always jealous of my sister Mindy, who got to go see Kiss on the Dynasty tour. My brother Steve took her to see that. And Judas Priest was the opening act for that, and many could probably care less, about Judas Priest. But I was always so jealous of that, and also my best friend at the time, Yancey Kaiser. I told you about him in a previous episode. I said we used to play at recess. He was Gene, and I was Paul, and we were total Kiss nerds. But he got to go. So, and a couple other guys in my class got to go, but I didn't. So that always just stuck in my craw.
Colin Gal went.
Yeah, jealousy. But my first show was finally on the Asylum tour. So, yes, Steve was right. They did have the makeup, had taken it off. But he took me to the show as well. It's January 15th.
That was what, 85?
January 15th of 1986. So
86.
Towards the end of the tour, it was Kiss and Wasp were the opener. Wasp had the big pikes, their own heads on pikes behind them. So they kind of had adopted the whole Kiss stage thing, makeup stage thing. And then I've told you before about shows in Charleston where, once the lights go out for the headliner, everybody just rushes the stage. So we knew that. Me and Cousin Andy, who I've mentioned before, we rushed right down. We were just right in front of Paul Stanley for the whole show. So my first Kiss, concert was pretty killer. I mean, I was pretty much right on the stage. You can't beat that. But they didn't have the makeup. I didn't get to see him with makeup until the reunion tour in
So
96.
85 would have been what, Crazy Nights tour?
Yeah, 85 would have been Animalize.
Animalize.
Yeah. So Heaven's on Fire. Asylum was the tour I saw him on, which again was 86. I don't know. Those years are kind of,
I saw him with mom and dad in 84.
Okay.
Right before Vinnie Vincent got fired. So I saw Vinnie Vincent.
Okay.
The second show was, I think, what's the one? I think it must have been the Crazy Nights tour.
I saw them on Crazy Nights tour with Ted Nugent
Ted Nugent. Yeah.
At the
And God, what a horrible set list. Jesus Christ, that was pitiful. We walked out. We left early. Seriously. All right. So back to the John McCarran story. This is about 6 months. This is about 6 months after Genesis. So you'll have to go back to your G story to review the John McCarran Genesis experience.
that was our big teaser line last week. I put it on all of our hype. Todd gets chased down for revenge in a Genesis story gone wrong. If last week's episode hasn't gone viral, then I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But anyway, so John McCarran.
This is about 6 months after Genesis. I get home from Ohio State for my first quarter in college as a freshman, and this is December 18th was the night of the show. I won tickets again on QF or on WTPA. Now McCarran didn't steal an extra pair this time, but but I did need him for a ride because I couldn't get to Philly I didn't have a driver's license anymore, so I couldn't find Hoop wasn't available. And Mark's parents wouldn't let him drive all the way to Philly by himself. And Dad had already seen Kiss once. He wasn't going to do it again. So I got McCarran. He had just gotten home that day from college. And his mom's like, "You just got home." And he's like, "Mom, I'll be back tomorrow." So me and McCarran go down. I don't think we had to go through Dirty Dave this time. I think McCarran probably had a fake ID by that point. So we drive down to Philly, down to the Spectrum. And yeah, Nugent was Nugent. Kiss was bad. I mean, like really, really crappy new songs. And by the time they got to Rock and Roll All Night, it was just like from 84 to 87, the 3 years of decline was so noticeable in my mind. I was like, John, let's just fucking go. And we were kind of loaded anyhow, and he had to get us home. So apparently they closed the show with White Christmas right before they played Detroit Rock City. And again, I'm just going by the set list on FM.com or whatever it's called. But we must have left like right around Rock and Roll All Night because I remember just saying this is not what it was 3 years ago. This is pitiful. And so I remember we could not find the car or couldn't remember where we put it. And so spent a good 20 minutes looking for the damn car in the parking lot of the Spectrum. Anyhow, basically vandalizing other cars and trying to hop into limos and that kind of thing. And we eventually found the car and got home safely. That was one of those nights where, it was, again, December 18th, winter in Pennsylvania, driving on a Schuylkill, not safe. John's car was a piece of shit. We'd been drinking. This was a recipe for, death. And I just remember like John rolling the window down, going 80 miles an hour, sticking his head out, trying to keep awake while he was driving, that kind of thing. So yeah,
had a few of those nights.
So that was Kiss Show number 2. Number 3, you were there. Now we did not go together for this Columbus show, Hot in the Shade tour.
Right, and this is one of my big fuck ups in concert history. Todd kept telling me.
You want to start telling the story? Or want me to do it?
I'll start. Todd kept telling me, "Hey, we're gonna meet Gene Simmons. We're gonna meet Gene Simmons." I thought Todd was full of shit. Actually, I don't know. I think I got drunk that day and just I blew it off for whatever reason. I was like, "Nah, that's okay. You go." I don't know why I didn't. I don't know why I did not. To this day, I don't know why I didn't either believe you or didn't go. But
I'll fill in the blanks.
Okay,
I'll fill in the blanks. All right. So you had tickets. I had tickets. The guys from Watershed were going. Where's your seat? Let's see.
Section 53, 2X, row 10.
Okay, not to brag, but I think I can top that. That was a gift from my good buddy Munch.
Nice. Folks, don't let that section 54 fool you. I read mine, section 53. Back at the old Ohio Center, section 53 and section 54 were the two sections right in front of the stage. So Todd's got section 54, row A. So
which would be the first row.
The front row.
First row. And now here's where the story goes. So I had already bought 2 tickets in the 9th row. I was happy with that. 9th row, kick ass and Kiss, woo! And so I lived on 11th Avenue in Columbus, Ohio, right there on campus. Kind of a shitty area, but we partied a lot and we had fun. And Kevin had some buddies, Mark Mazik, who lived right behind me and Mr. Mustard's. And his apartment complex was kind of the go-to party place after Mustard's closed down at 2 a.m. And this was an afternoon party. This is June 6th, 1990.
Yep.
So we probably had just finished school like that week, end of my junior year at Ohio State, ready to fucking go, man, live life, woo!
Now you're filling in the blanks. A party at Maze's. Yep. I know why I blew off Meeting Jeans.
All right, so anyhow, Kevin's trying to get some punani.
There we go. Now you're filling the rest of the blanks.
Look, I know my buddy Kevin well enough back when he was 20 years old to know exactly what he was doing other than trying to meet Gene Simmons, okay?
Priorities, folks, priorities.
So anyhow, now I will give you his exact quote when I told him. So we're at the party, we're hanging out. Like I said, I already had 9th row. I'm happy with it. I go home to get more beer or something, and I live right up the block from the party. And on my answering machine, there was a message from my boss / mentor at QFM 96, Mark Munch Bishop, say, "Hey, Slick, I got some tickets for you for Kiss, front row and backstage passes if you want them. Give me a call back." So I called him back immediately. And yes, indeed, my buddy Munch got me front row tickets and 2 backstage passes for this show. So I go back to the party and I'm excited. Kevin, we got, Kevin's the first person I thought of. Kevin, we're going backstage. We're going to go see Kiss. We're going to meet Gene. It's going to be awesome. Kevin's like, nah, I've been backstage and it never works out. You never meet them. They never show up.
I had a bad experiences with backstage.
Look, I know that, folks. That's true. In a lot of cases, that is absolutely true. Unfortunately, in this case, it was not. This was the one and only time I've ever met Gene Simmons. Did not have a camera again. But I don't even think I got an autograph that time. Wait, hold on. When he played in Hershey many years later, I worked at a restaurant in Harrisburg.
I was going to say.
He came into the restaurant. I wasn't there that day, but my buddy Dave got an autograph for me.
Okay, I knew you had his autograph. I didn't quite know the circumstances. Now, Todd, I did get a makeup on meeting Gene Simmons. I didn't quite get the backstage experience, but I worked a Kiss show. I got to roadie a Kiss show once.
I think so. I can't remember what year was that. About 98.
New Year's Eve, 98 into 99, at the Palace at Auburn Hills up in Detroit. We've talked about it before. Yep, they just tore it down last week. Bulldozing your childhood, folks. But my brother Tom hooked me up with a roadie gig for the Kiss New Year's Eve tour that year, and I think that was part of the 3D tour here. I know I saw him once in Columbus on this tour, but also working the show. Now, this is really cool. I got to work on the stage crew. I got to unload all the fake amps. That Kiss stacks up and makes a big wall of amplifiers. Here's a secret, folks. There are no speaker cabinets in those amplifiers. So I'm going down. They rolled out all the amps, Todd, on a big. You remember if you were doing a event in a gymnasium or something like that, how all the old folding chairs would be on one of those rolly carts, and you grab a folding chair off. Well, they had all these fake amps, stacked on one of these big long rolly carts. So we're pulling off amps. All of a sudden, I get to one.
Playing everything like this.
All of a sudden, I get to one that's got weight. It's like, oh, I was like, oh, that one's real. The stage manager's like, yeah, that one's Aces. It goes right here. So, got to roll Aces cabinet right next to the drum riser.
Yeah, that's the one with the drugs in it.
No, it was the only one with a real speaker. Ace is the only one that had like a real amp on stage. The rest of the guys Gene and Paul just plug into the system and whatever, come out through the PA. But that was cool, getting to work the show. And then my makeup was after the set. the other three members, Paul, Ace, and Peter, all ran immediately off the stage into a limo and left. Gene went to his dressing room, took off all the makeup and everything, and obviously had several groupies
And then
escorted.
fucked a few women.
But so by the time we got done doing the loadout, Gene was out hanging out with the roadies, literally just thanking us all. And so I've always thought that was really cool. Didn't really get to actually, hang out or meet him or anything, but just kind of got a, bro nod and hey, thanks for your time. So that's pretty cool when the main boss of the gig, gives you a thank you. So.
He's just counting the money at the end of the show. Don't kid yourself, Kevin.
It was all about the groupies, trust me. I just remember this line of women being, lined up while he was in good.
All right, well, I wasn't quite done with the 1990 story, but all right, so as I said, I had 2 ninth row, 2 front row, which I wanted to take you along with me. I'll give Kevin the pass for that because I got to say, folks, he was quite the ladies' man back in the 90s. He could pull in some high quality trim. So, but now he's happily in a wonderful relationship. Of course,
We all grew up, Todd. We all grew up.
Yeah. Yeah.
The good old days.
Let's put it this way: I couldn't fuck the women he used to fuck. So that's okay. But anyhow, so I got the front row seats, and I look, folks. I'm not a violent person. I'm not a fighter. I don't like confrontation, and so I had 4 tickets and no one to go with. So I figured I might as well at least sell 2 when I got there. So I get to the Ohio Center, and I'm standing at the. I was gonna sell like 1 of the front row seats, see if I can get like $100 for it, something like that, But I said I got a front row seat, and the guy says, "Yeah, can I take a look at it?" I said, "Sure." He said, "Thanks," and just walks off. And he was kind of a bigger guy.
But he's got to sit next to you at the show.
Yeah, he did. Yes, he did. And so I was a little pissed. I was a little angry, but not angry enough to go get my ticket back. So I had 1 ticket for the front, and I had 2 ninth row tickets. And I found this cute little girl, and I said, "Hey," I still had the backstage passes. I said, "Would you like to go backstage? Why not?" So I found a cute little blondie and took her backstage with me, and got to meet Gene. That was about I saw Bruce walking through the hallway, but he kept going. There was about a group of maybe 6 or 7 of us. And so we got to meet Gene for a couple minutes. And like I said, I didn't have a camera, but somebody did. And she took a picture of me and Gene. I gave her my address and never got a copy of it. So that was my experience meeting Gene. Then at the actual show itself, so I'm still with the girl. I've got 2 ninth row seats and 1 front row seat, and the show's about to start. And I said, "Just grab my hand and come with me." So we went to the front row. I passed right by a security lady. I held up our tickets, just said, "We're going this way," and went to the front row. And sure as shit, there's the fat motherfucker that took my goddamn front row ticket. And I said, "Move over," And so I made, and so we squished in, and and he had the fucking nerve to sit there the whole goddamn night. But at the end of the show, as they're coming off stage, Eric Carr looked directly at me and threw me that stick.
Beautiful.
And
Beautiful.
Again, I was in the front row. He threw
Rest
it up.
in
I'm
peace, Eric
5'8". This guy jumped and grabbed it.
Fat boy tried to take the stick?
Fat boy tried to grab it. No fucking way. No.
Yes. Well, you're holding the stick
My
now.
stick.
Reminds me of a Van Halen stick story that I'll tell in the V's. My brother was involved in. That's awesome.
If technology ever permits, I've got Eric Carr's DNA right here in the stick. We can recreate him in a lab somewhere.
Yes, yes. Did you see? I don't know if you ever heard of Rockheads. This is actually very timely. Rockheads is this cartoon that Eric Carr conceived and came up with during his lifetime, and it never got produced. They're finally making it. I saw the preview. It's about like little kids in a rock band, and the drummer's obviously Eric Carr. He's got the big bushy hair and everything. So that's
Right.
coming out, folks. Look for that. It's called Rockheads. Just kind of look for
They'll
that
sell
coming
anything
up.
at this point.
Yeah, really. Actually, I don't think Kiss is involved in it. It's something that Eric Carr's family's doing. But dude, that's awesome, man. Now meeting Kiss members. We obviously told the story about meeting Ace, and then we also
Ace.
told the story about we met Eric Carr. You
Gene.
met Gene. I kind of
Eric.
met Gene.
That's it.
Okay.
I've not met Paul. I've not met Peter.
Kiss solo acts. Obviously, again, we've talked about seeing
We've seen
Ace
solo a couple of times together.
Did you see
I've
Paul
seen
Stanley?
Ace solo 6 times. I've seen Paul once. Which
That's what I say. Did you
we
see
can
Paul?
talk about the Paul Stanley
That's
story.
what I was trying to bring up. Paul Stanley at the Newport. Was that 88 or 89?
I was 89.
Okay. And
should look up the
Eric
set
Singer
list.
was the drummer for that. That's actually kind of how he got his gig in Kiss, I guess, from being Paul's solo
What's that?
drummer. Eric Singer was the drummer on that tour.
Oh,
The
really?
the Paul solo tour. Yeah, it was Eric Singer, Bob Kulick on guitar, who recently passed away. Rest in peace,
Really?
Bob. And gosh, I forget who the bass player was.
Now, Bob Kulick played a couple Ace solos on Destroyer, didn't he?
Yeah, he actually played. He's the guitar player on everything on side 5 of Alive 2 or side 4 of Alive 2, except for Rocket Ride. So.
Ace played Rocket Ride?
Yeah, Ace played and sang Rocket Ride, and that's kind of
Because it was his song.
Yeah, exactly. So Ace got a new album getting ready to come out, another covers album. Now, when did you see Kiss for the first time with makeup? On the reunion tour?
On the reunion tour in '96 at the Superdome in Louisiana, New Orleans.
Nice stadium. I saw him in Phoenix at an arena show, but tell us about the Superdome show.
Superdome. I had bought handicap seats.
We learned that secret years ago at the John Mellencamp. We'll tell that story down in the M's.
We'll get to that story in the M's.
But yeah, go ahead.
We bought handicap seats, and it turned out they put us in the goddamn press box. We had 50-yard line seats in the flipping press box, pretty much to ourselves.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like the press box that's way up. Maybe that wasn't so great.
No. The press box in the dome is like halfway up.
Ah, okay.
So you've got like the first level, then you've got the press level, and then you've got the cheap seats up top. You know, so we were like 50-yard line, dead center. You know, I mean, dude, I was. You know, we had a little desk set up in front of us. You know, it's like for the writers, you know, that kind of thing.
Right.
I was peeing in the trash can in front of me. It was I didn't even have to go to the bathroom. It was great. We're doing blow off the goddamn table. It was awesome.
Yikes.
But Dad, I'm just kidding. These are all jokes.
jokes, folks. But dude, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, this was New Orleans, folks. It was a different time in my life. All right, so you know.
Saw him in Phoenix for that tour. The only thing really unique about that show is that my significant at the other at the time, and the other couple who went with us, well, eventually we pulled the swap. My significant the other married the other guy, and I wound up with his crazy ex for a while. So that's what I remember about my first Kiss reunion show. But we saw him many times on that. Obviously, we were talking about earlier the 3D show. Yeah, Kiss did this. And that show was like, all right, everyone, put on your glasses. You know, Paul would tell you, and then all it was like, you know, Ace pointing the guitar at the screen, or you know, Paul, you know, kissing or puckering at the screen, or who knows. But
which really, you don't want to see that close up anyhow.
One thing about the 3D tour, I mentioned my brother Tom, when the 3D tour came here to Columbus, he literally just we walked up, you know, we were gonna do. I bought a ticket outside, I'm sure. Tom was like, "I'll meet you inside." He literally just walked in. I think he may have ordered some old passes or something, but he just walked down in through the loading dock and just walked right through the roadie area. He's so used to doing it, I guess, for many years, and just kind of looking like he knew what he was doing.
He kind of looks like he belongs there.
Yeah, so he got in
well,
that one. So
something I wanted to say about the original '96 reunion tour. Like I said, when I was doing research for this book, I found a copy or a YouTube clip, audio clip of the show that I saw in '84 in New York City.
Nice.
And when they get to Cold Gin, Paul's like, if you want to get fucked up, what do you want to drink? Cold Gin, Now, if you listen to tapes of the '96 tour, when they played Cold Gin, the pattern's a little different. Paul Stanley's suddenly like, and if you're going to drink Cold Gin, make sure you don't drink and drive. What the fuck, man? That's,
Kiss became a family act.
And make sure you bring a towel. And so, yeah, that was a difference that I noticed there.
Yeah, the new mature Kiss.
All right, so they did the reunion tour in '96. They did the Psycho Circus 3D tour '98. They did the final tour in 2000.
The farewell tour, right here. Yeah,
lasted, I believe, about 6 years. So I think Ace got fired again in 2002. Peter got fired again in 2004. They brought in Tommy Thayer to replace Ace, and they brought Eric Singer back in. I guess his gig with Alice was up, so he went back to Kiss. I tell you, the guy who really got screwed the most was Bruce Kulick.
Absolutely.
He was in the band for 6-7 years. All of a sudden, we're gonna do a reunion tour. We'll give you a call when we're done. And
probably.
Next thing you know, Gene Simmons is teaching his fucking luggage guy how to play the songs.
Face it, Tommy worked cheaper. you know what that's all about.
I guarantee it. I guarantee Kulick wanted more money, and that's So yeah.
Honestly though, for all the jokes about Tommy Thayer, his life story would make a hell of a movie. You talk about a guy who went from playing Ace in a tribute band. I mean, it's kind of already the rock star story, which we know is kind of about Ripper Owens. But, to working for the band, to road managing the band, to actually being in the band. So.
Well, and plus he also was in Black and Blue.
Right. Well, that's Gene. That's how he first hooked up with Gene in the first place. To hear Gene tell it in his book, he's like, I told Tommy that he had potential, but the band did not.
And that's why I signed them in the first place. Really, Gene? That's, so you thought one guy had potential, so you signed the whole band to produce him? You moron. Gene, no offense, Gene Simmons is about as good a business person as Donald Trump. He's made a lot of money, but he's blown a lot of deals.
True. I always said I wouldn't have wanted Gene Simmons producing my band because other than Van Halen, name any band that he was ever involved with to win anywhere.
It's a sign of death. It's like having Bad Luck Schleprock as your manager.
He got involved with the Plasmatics when Neil Williams ended up killing herself. I mean,
that's all right. I'll just stay on Star Search.
But God bless Kiss, Todd. I mean, face it, if it wasn't for Kiss, you and I might not know each other. We definitely wouldn't be sitting here doing this.
I wouldn't have discovered Alice Cooper and all the other bands that I then went back to go find out about after I, finally went through all 20 Kiss records,
I did that recently, about a year ago. I just sat down and went through, everyone chronologically. It was an awesome couple of days,
well, I mean, now when you were a kid, did you listen to Kiss records by yourself? Did you listen to them with friends?
Everything and anything. They were the only band I liked from the time I got into them up till I discovered Rush in Boy Scout camp. When I was 12. So probably from age 5 through 12, so 7-year period there. Kiss was that's the only thing that mattered to me.
It's it's amazing how I think a lot of Kiss fans would probably say the same thing.
Oh, I hear interviews with rock stars all the time, and that's exactly like what a lot of them say. Oh, it was all Kiss all the time, up until a point,
Yeah. Up until I hit about 6th grade. And went from elementary to middle school and realized that not all girls, liked Kiss, and that maybe I try to
I
listen.
maintained my love of Kiss well into high school. I know we used to cruise to a lot of the music off
I
of
never
rock and
gave
roll
up
over.
my love for them. I just added to other bands that I had my interest.
Gotcha. I got this album for my 12th birthday from my brother, the Elder. Talked about Jim Vassar, one of my high school, one of my best friends in grade in high school. Me and him used to buy each other records for presents, and he got me this one for Christmas in 1982, Creatures of the Night. That was awesome. Todd, when I was looking up albums here when we were taking our break, this goes back and ties back into our first segment. I found this one.
Nice. I got a cutout for
There
that
you go.
somewhere.
Nice.
My Kiss belt buckle.
Beautiful.
And my baseball card collection.
There you go.
I don't think I quite collected them all, but
I've
got
got
a good bit of them.
I've got a Kiss card of some sort, but it's from the Creatures of the Night era because it's got Vinny in it with his makeup. So anything.
Well, folks, if you're a Kiss fan, you'll understand this show. If not, you probably tuned out about 45 minutes ago. So
Yeah, really. They saw it in the description. Kiss. Fuck that.
Wait, they're going to talk about kicks though too. So maybe we can drag some people back in. So we're gonna wrap this up now. But depending on how much time we got left on the old odometer, we might sneak Mom and Pop Baker in for a little cameo after this. So
all right, we'll be back in just a few with more Kiss on Ticket Stubs.
And we're back with a little special extra Kiss expose. Folks, when you're talking about Kiss, you always got to have a little bonus. Like they always throw a little extra something in the album, something like that. So we're giving you a little extra bonus here for the podcast. So I did not get a chance to tell you about my first experience seeing Kiss with my entire family at Radio City Music Hall in New York City. Now, again, for those of you who want to see the pictures and see a little more detail, you'll have to buy the book. But for right now, we got a special guest, two special guests, actually. So we got Mom and Dad Baker.
Nice.
Give us their variation on the Kiss story in New York City. So,
all right.
Give me a sec. We're going to flip the camera.
All right. Returning to the show at this time is Mr. Dale Baker. And for the first.
Welcome back to Ticket Stubs, Dr. Dale and his lovely wife, Rosemary.
For the first time ever on Ticket Stubs, Mrs. Roy Baker.
Yes, indeed. All right. Here we go. How's that? We got him?
Looks great. Hi, guys. Good to see you.
All right. So, all right. Tell us about your experience going to New York City to see Kiss.
Well, I would take the family on what I call cultural trips. So I decided to take the family to New York to go to the Metropolitan Museum of the Arts because Rory loves art. So I thought it'd be a good weekend. So that was the intent and the purpose of our trip to New York. So we take a train from Harrisburg to Philadelphia, and Philadelphia to New York, grab a cab, go up to the Hilton. And we were in the afternoon, so we let Todd take a little stroll down the avenue, see what is happening.
Now, how many parents let their child just wander around the streets of New York? All right, so let's start right there. Hey, go ahead.
Parents at a much earlier time in history.
Right.
The next thing I know, he comes running back, all excited, saying, "Dad, Kiss is playing at the Radio City Music Hall. Can you believe that?" I said, "Okay, let's go see if we can get tickets." So we go down, and fortunately, we was able to get tickets, and that's how I kind of got into that particular cultural event in New York with Kiss.
A little different from your average Broadway show.
The show, I guess, not the reason, but the show itself, because You have to understand my wife gets into things when she really wants to. And that's what happened at the concert. So we go into the concert. First of all, you know the type of crowd that you see. Leather jacket, chains, everything else you might want to
Denim,
imagine.
lots of long hair.
Right.
Pushing and shoving to get into this beautiful theater, Radio City Music Hall. It's just, so beautiful. We get very good seats in the middle row on the ground level, and surrounded by all these wonderful Kiss fans waiting for this wonderful show. Of course, they had an opening act, which we knew nothing about.
Except.
All right. Open for my first Ozzy concert. Anyway.
So next thing I see, all these kids standing up and standing on the chairs. And my wife is up there. Let her tell you about that experience.
So, Mom, at one point, now Mom's kind of short for everybody out there, so she couldn't see very well. And so Mom got on the chairs with everybody else. Mom, do you remember the name of the song that you were singing as you were standing on the chair?
Balls to the wall.
Balls to the wall. Now, I'll take it here. So, my assistant superintendent father looks over to my wonderful mother and says, "What are you saying?" To which she responded,
"Balls to the wall."
she had no idea. No idea what she was saying. Anyhow.
Awesome.
So we got out of there alive. What was your recollection after the show? What were your main memories?
Loved it. I thought it was great. That was the first time they didn't have their makeup on, so Todd was a little disappointed in that.
Same. I saw them. We talked about it here earlier in the show, but the same with me. The first time I got to see them, they didn't have the makeup, so it was a little disappointing. But we were seeing Kiss, so
Right.
My sister would have rather seen Duran Duran.
I'm sure. So did you understand then, Mrs. Baker? What was making Todd so excited over this band once you finally got to see him?
Yeah, they were fantastic. I loved it. I thought it was fun.
Well, to me, I thought it was just another night at the music theater. It's very enjoyable. Those experiences are kind of, unique. You don't have the thrill, I'm sure, that your son had loving type of music, but you do recall, the happy moments together. My only other thought was, I just glad to get out of that wonderful theater without burning down when they lit all the lighter. And they said, please, no
lighters in the building.
Everyone had them on.
All in all, it was another cultural experience. It wasn't a museum arts, but I guess it's a museum music. Worth the time of the family.
And look where we are so many years later. Kiss is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's
and
right.
They're still out there on their final tour. If they can
So
ever
I
get back to play.
just wanted to include Mom and Dad in our little Kiss repertoire tonight, because no good concert story would be complete without having your mom and dad there with you.
That's right. We love it. And as I told Mr. Baker last week, Mrs. Baker, on behalf of concert fans everywhere, we thank you for taking Todd at such a young age and instilling the love of live music in him. And it's led to this and our friendship and all these great stories. So we thank you.
I'm not done taking him to concerts yet, I'll tell you that. So.
That's great. That's great.
All right, we'll be back next week with the letter L. Dad can tell about the time we went to go see Leonard Skinner.
All right, my sister Mindy's going to come on and talk about one of our Leonard Skinner experiences as well. So it's 3 weeks of family here on Ticket Stubs. We love it.
So there's and we can talk about the time I took Mom and Dad to go see Jerry Lee Lewis.
Excellent. Beautiful.
So there you go.
All right. Well, we'll
more family fun on the way, folks.
All right. Well,
goes on and on.
All right. Well, again, we want to thank you for coming on, Mr. and Mrs. Baker. Hope to see you again next week. And Todd, I'll talk to you then. Until then, this is
Ticket Stubs.
It was fun.